Hi, I'm Amanda Perna, and today I'm going to show you how to do a no-sew mask embellishment with nothing more than some really fun embellishments and some glue. The one thing I do want you to make note of when you're starting any project using fabric glue is it does need to wait 24 hours before you move it or do anything with it. And pro tip, you want to go ahead and wash any fabric that you have first, just in case there's any shrinkage, so that way you don't wind up with everything all out of whack. So what I like to do first is take a little bowl. I'm using a pleated mask, but some of you may have a different one. With the pleated mask, it really does work nicely if you have a tiny bowl underneath to help you open the pleats. So that way you're seeing really where it's gonna sit once it's on your face. You do wanna remember that if you are putting them glued onto a pleat, it's gonna be stuck like that. So you wanna try to make sure you're stretching it out as much as you need to if it was on your face. So I like to start right in the center always, because I think it gives you that frame, and then go from there and start placing them out. Now, you could go ahead and pin them all on first and figure out where you want it placed, or you could just go for it like I do. And remember, you could use any kind of patch or any kind of embellishment. I love things with texture. I think it always makes it extra exciting, and especially for an embellishment project, we want it to be exciting. So what you want to do is, this is one of my favorite glues, Beacon Fabri-Tac glue. I use it for a lot of projects and it really works wonderfully. So I like to go around the outside in a circle, and I just need to let it drip. Go around the outside in a circle, almost like a swirl into the center. And then you just want to get it off any extra, and then press it firmly on there. I like to wait about 60 seconds while I'm pressing it on, just to make sure it's nice and tight. But if you have something smaller or larger, you may have to press around it. For this, it's a nice easy circle that my 4 fingers can be on, but if you had something larger, you might want to use your hands or some other object. So I want to figure out all of the different colors that I have in here, so I'm going to pull one of each out so I can make sure that I have them nicely spaced out. So I'm first gonna do it kind of like polka dots. I think I'm gonna wanna cover the whole thing, but I'm gonna start with polka dots because you could always add more, but once glue is on there, it is on there even if you pull the piece off. So once again, we're gonna do a nice little swirl and we're gonna stick it. So what I try to do is just shift as I go, so wherever I'm placing the new piece is going to be right on the center of this bowl. It just really gives you a surface to get extra pressure in there, so that way it sticks, because you want to make sure it really does stick to the fabric. And remember, if you are using a knit fabric, it might stretch. It's one of the many things that I love so much about masks that are the woven cotton, is they're really rigid and they really hold up. So you get that same perk when you are doing this. Okay, so you're gonna give a nice little swirl, and we're gonna keep on doing the same thing on the entire mask. Okay, so now we're gonna move down here. So this is where it gets a little tricky, because you do have the pleats, so you wanna make sure you're opening them up enough so that way when you place it down, it is in a place where you're comfortable with it, because remember, once again, glue sticks. I know I sound crazy saying it over and over again, but it really does. And once you put it on there, it's there, and it's gonna leave a mark even if the piece isn't stuck. So I'm gonna do it right here. I have my pleat open, and I'm going to press down right here. Okay, now we're gonna do one down here. And I think it's really fun to use smaller elements because you really can create a pattern of your own. So it's one of a kind, and no one else will have the same mask as you. Especially nowadays where we're finding masks to match every outfit. I think embellishing them is the nice, easy way to do it. You could take the masks you already have and give them new life. I love it. It's already giving you such nice texture. Let's go right over here and do one. Let's do gold. And if you see any of them are starting to creep up, I just like to go back in and press it down a little again. And you can always check and see if you need a little bit more glue in a spot. Maybe you missed a little tiny spot and you can go back in, like right here, could use a little bit more. So I'm just gonna dab more in here. So now you have a polka dot embellished mask. But I think I want a little bit more. So I'm gonna add a whole bunch of these guys in here. So I'm gonna come back in and I'm gonna fill between these spaces. Okay, so here is how it looks with embellished polka dots. Now you could go in and add more, like I have some extra pieces, so I could go in and fill the entire thing and make it all covered. Or you can stop now and have a cute little pop of bling on your otherwise basic mask. Today I'm going to show you how to use patches and an iron to make a super easy but fun mask makeover. One thing that I love is you can do the same technique with different shapes or letters, and you really could make it your own. So you can do anything you dream of with just an iron, a bowl, your patches, and a mask. So I really love this little Cricut Easy Press Mini because it gets into the patches really well, but you could use any kind of iron that you have at home. So for this one, I think I am going to do some letters. But like I said, you could put a happy face in the middle. You could put some cute little flowers. So the sky really is the limit on this. So I'm gonna do love. I think it's important to always spread love. So we're gonna put that on here. So the first thing you wanna do is figure out the placement of your pieces. Remember what I was saying, where if you just lay them on with a pleat, if we iron this like this, it's gonna get stuck. So you wanna make sure that you have it nice and open when you are doing this. Oh, there go my letters. Okay, so we know that we want the O and the V to be closest to the center. So I like to start with those letters first. So we're gonna open it up. And if you need to, as a guide, just a little trick, you can always fold it in half. And now we have our center point. Some people might want to put a pin there to remember where it is, but I'm just going to use the little crease that it naturally makes. So I'm going to put these on either side of that little crease. So I'm going to space them about 1 inch apart. I'm going to open it up really nice so I can see what it'll look like. And remember, when this is on your face, it is going to curve. So you do want to see kind of where the curve is going to go. And I think I want mine to be in a little bit more. So I'm gonna hold them both here because I do think I can get both of them in with this iron. If your iron's really big, you probably just wanna do one at a time because it might be hard to get around your fingers. So I'm looking at my spacing, I'm looking at where the shape of the letters are, and I think that looks pretty good. So I'm gonna take my iron. You wanna push your pleats back a little bit, put your letter where you want it, move your finger, and I let it sit for about 60 seconds. You could set a timer on your phone if it's easier for you to remember, or you could just count. My iron up and look at it, and you can tell right away if they are sticking because it will be pretty flat to the fabric. Different patches take different amounts of time, and also depending on your fabric. We're doing this off of the masks that we already made here, so they are cotton, which is gonna make it stick really nicely. Some synthetics will melt depending on how high the heat is of your iron. So you do wanna make sure you're paying attention to all instructions for your fabric when you are ironing. And here we have our words. So once again, you could put anything you want or any words that you'd like on it. It's super easy, quick. And then what I like to do is go to the back side and just give it a little press on the back, just to really activate the glue that is in the patches. So give it a little sweep over the whole thing. Love. So here we have our super easy DIY embellished mask using nothing but an iron and some patches.